Today, I wanted to talk about a sticky topic, and this is understanding and recognizing how a narcissist shows care. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe, give some likes and thumbs up, put comments below. How does this strike you? What's working for you? What's not? I'd love to interact with you guys in the comments. It's been awesome to do that. All right, so a narcissist's way of showing care might not look like what you expect, but that doesn't mean that it's not real. So I'm going to hit this from two angles. One, as the narcissist, and two, as the person in relationship with the narcissist. So the first step really has to be done by the narcissist themselves. You have to, to be successful in this, what we're talking about today, it's important and vital to really examine yourself, your life, and especially the relationships you've had over your life that have been the most meaningful and important to you, and look at how you experience caring about the other people. Now that might sound funny, as coming from a narcissist, or when we're talking about a narcissist, because it's kind of like, the baseline with a narcissist is what's in it for me. We don't have much empathy or any at all a lot of times that we can share or express. So it's like, what do you even care? But the truth is that's got to be there somewhere if you've had relationships with other people and meaningful ones for you, people who you liked or loved. Care is involved in that. Now, the expression of that care might have been absent, but likely it wasn't just completely absent. If you really examine it, likely it just wasn't the normal ways that normies are used to. So that's really important to understand how you show care. So I think I'm going to say a couple of mine. I think they might be universal, though you tell me in the comments below, all right? But so for me, one of the ways that I show care or have expressed care is really looking at how to help people solve problems that are affecting their lives. Now, if I try, I can tie that all the way to like what's in it for me, because I like this person. I like spending time with them. I like hanging out with them, whatever type of thing like that. And if their life or their problems that they're trying to deal with are resolved, then I get more of their happy self or hanging out with them or whatever the case may be. But you don't have to go down that road, but just kind of as an example of how just because I'm thinking about what's in it for me doesn't mean that I don't care about the other person. And those of you watching who are like, well, that just proves that narcissists don't care. Really, you can dive into yourself and really track to everything we do in a sense is self-serving. But that's a topic for another video also. So really understanding the ways that you do show care is so valuable, because what's then required in the relationships with people is to inform the people around you who've been experiencing what they've experienced as a lack of care, because you don't show it in the ways that most other people do or that they're used to or expecting. So they can understand that while you may not listen and express emotionally when they're expressing something that's emotional to them in the way other people do, you may not think about them throughout the day when you're not together and send them notes and all that kind of stuff. But because those are absent, doesn't necessarily mean that the care is absent. And this opens the opportunity for a dialogue between the two people for the normie in the relationship to say, I know that throughout the day when we're not around each other, you don't think about me. And I'm not going to take that personally. However, I just know that I love getting texts, throughout the day, or little notes, or you buying me a special treat at the store when you're there. So what you could do is set a little reminder in your phone at noon. Send a text to so-and-so. And then you got to do it. And you got to find where that's authentic in you. You don't want to just perform that for the other person. But hey, that alert that comes up on your phone says 12 o'clock, send a text to Joe Schmo. You can take a moment as the narcissist and think, oh yeah, Joe Schmo. Yeah, what do I like about them? Or what things might I say that are meaningful to me? Hey, it was fun playing guitar with you last night. And that can be real. And you might not have thought of making that communication on your own, but it doesn't take away from the authenticity of the expression itself just because you set an alarm on your phone. That's one example. There's lots of others that, you as a narcissist would be using in situations or situationally. So your friend is expressing to you about, tough time with their some other relationship, they're having this hard time. And you may say something like, "Wow, I can tell that's really you're having a hard time. That's meaningful to you, or that's important to you, and I can help you think about that strategically, problem solve. I'm not real great at sort of the emotional, just like listening and reflecting emotion back to you. I'm sorry, that's just not how my brain works. So if you want the stuff I am good at, I'd be happy to do that with you. That would be awesome. And if you're just looking for somebody to listen and respond emotionally, maybe that's something, give a call to one of your other friends or something for that. And so as the normie, having awareness of how your narcissist shows care is going to help you navigate these situations more effectively. The next thing you may want to try of these ways of recognition of the narcissist version of care is validating their efforts. Now, I'm not saying you have to do this or that I require you to do something to make me feel okay as the narcissist in the relationship. But if you're wanting to have this work out and you're understanding, the whole dynamic here, it's super valuable for the narcissist to have somebody validate the ways they do care, because we've spent so much time and had so many inputs in our life about how we don't show care, how bad we are at it, how deficient we are. Filling in some messages with like, hey, when you helped me solve this problem or think about this thing strategically, that was really meaningful to me. Or, hey, I know I was sharing with you about this tough situation at work and you started talking to me about possible solutions. I can see that that's how you're showing that you care. Anything like that. Just those little inputs of a positive nature about our expressions of care can have such profound effects and meanings, because it's the antidote for all that poison that we've received from our world over all these years of our lives. So that's number two that, I would, if you want a happy relationship with a narcissist, I would recommend looking at that, seeing where that might work for you. I'm not telling you guys to do anything, but that may be useful for you in terms of making the relationship work well. And then number three for the non-narcissist is balance your expectations. Understand what your partner or your friend or your spouse is good at and what their strengths are, they're the narcissist. But also balance your expectations. Don't think that they're going to suddenly be different. And that's something that's been an interesting navigation in my recent life as I've been waking up to this and expressing more to some of the closer people in my life about the differences and so forth. I run into frequently now what I perceive as kind of the idea that now that I've become aware of it and now that I've told them that that's how it works for me, that, problem solved, I'm going to be like a normal person now. And that's really not how it's going to work. Even if, normal person is some future goal or future event that happens for me, I don't know if it will, it doesn't happen with one interaction. And so I can sense frustration from people. They've told me, whatever. And I think a lot of it is because it's just really hard as a non-narcissist to really inhabit the brain of a narcissist and understand how life and the world looks to them. Not that you need to or should, but just understand that it's hard. Likewise, it's hard for the narcissist to inhabit the brain and the world of the normal person. Though we certainly get, 100 times more examples of that, in our daily lives, but it's still not an easy thing to do. So if you can balance your expectations, if you can remind yourself, if you can set that up in advance to understand that this partner, this spouse, this important person in your life isn't going to show care the same way as you might, and isn't going to show care the same way that a lot of other people do. But that doesn't mean they don't care. If you can keep that in mind, that really helps to balance out those expectations and understand your importance of appreciating their strengths, the other person's strengths, while seeking emotional support elsewhere if needed. And that's okay. You don't have to get everything from one person. In fact, it's probably healthier to not try to rely on one person for all your needs out there. So recognizing the care of the narcissist help build that connection while allowing you, the non-narcissist, to meet your own emotional needs. All right. Hope this was helpful. Remember to thumbs up and like. give some comments, subscribe, share this with somebody if you think it'd be useful for them. I want to spread the message that, narcissists are people too. And we'll see you next time.